The world of AI is rapidly changing. In just 3 years, we've seen the launches of multiple AI models and various improvements in the field. ChatGPT, Perplexity, DeepSeek, and more. But there's another one that's silently growing. Dash AI. Dash AI gives language models hands by automating workflows across apps like Gmail, Notion, and more. And it's excellent at what it does. I spoke with their co-founder, Harsha, and we discussed a lot about AI in the world and how it's rapidly changing, and even about the job market. If you're curious about the world of AI or want to learn more about the industry, this one's for you. Enjoy the podcast, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, I know.
All right. So thank you, Harsha, for meeting with me today. And so, Harsha, can you just describe your business and yourself?
Yeah, I can start off with that. I'm working on Dash. It's a general AI agent that works across a person's stack, so Notion, Gmail, Slack, you name it, understands your context and just gets work done for you. For example, like right now, we just were hopping off a customer call. They have a bunch of real estate agents emails, and they just ask Dash to go and draft emails, write them and send them, and then follow up with them a few days later and kind of nurture those leads until they can get on a call.
Mm,
Um, It's a really general AI agent. If you
mm,
name it, it can probably do it.
mm,
But yeah, and then for me, I just graduated from Georgia Tech in 2025.
mm,
So just a recent grad. And yeah, I've been working on this for a few months now, and it's been fun, I guess.
mm.
Yeah.
So, what interested you in AI in the first place? Is it like the market space, or do you think it's just like it's
Yeah.
just a new market?
Oh so actually I hadn't done startups much until about May of last year. I had done some dating stuff for fun, and I saw you mentioned that you got the Cupid dating.
Yeah.
They're doing great there, by the way. Like their social media is insane. But I'd just been doing dating for fun, like some
Mm,
dating stuff on campus. I had a few thousand people try out my thing, and then someone reached out to me and was like, "I have this startup idea. You want to try it?" And I was like, "You know what? It's my senior year. Might as well try a startup." I
mm,
got in. It was really fun. We had like a few thousand people on campus use it, and everyone used know about it, but in
mm,
churn was bad. So then I was like looking for an idea, and my friend Drew was like, "Hey, we need some help marketing. You want to help us?" So yeah, I started helping them with their startup, which at that time was like a code gen thing, like
mm,
Lovable. It was just really cool. I was like, "This is insane that AI can do this." And from there, stuff kind of spiraled. We did some few pivots, and I became co-founders and kind of
mm,
got into Dash from there. So I wouldn't say by any means
mm,
was I like at first really planning to get
mm,
into AI. It kind of just
mm.
happened.
Yeah, I've been playing around with Dash a little bit, and it's pretty impressive. And my
Yeah.
one thing that curiouses me about AI is that like whenever I look at ChatGPT and all those other models, they have like big data centers and all that. So does whenever you make like an AI agent like this simple, do you also require data centers that huge?
We actually, yeah, on the back end, we use like Anthropic a lot, and then we use some Claude and Gemini. So we don't
Hmm.
have the data centers, but they do. That's actually our
Oh.
biggest problem right now is that we've gone a little bit too fast in terms of stuff. So we have rate limits that mean that we can't service our users as much as we want to for stuff because they just, I think, like usually it takes a week or two to get us up. And so we've just started the convos, and it's a little bit annoying, I would say. But
Hmm.
luckily, they're the ones who handle the data centers, not us.
Yeah, and one thing that amazes me about the AI industry right now is that the growth. There's immense growth in this market and with multiple niches. And
Yeah.
do you think Dash one day could turn into the next Perplexity? Because it definitely has the same layout and everything. So do you think it could be the next Perplexity?
Uh, yeah, I think honestly we will be I think that Perplexity will be kind of short limiting a ceiling for stuff. I truly believe that there's gonna be a general AI agent company out there that's gonna be the next Google or Apple.
Mm,
Now, right now I don't know if Dash necessarily is gonna be it. I think we will. I wouldn't be working on the idea.
mm,
But I think the fundamental thing is that stuff like a search like Perplexity or Glean get limited at some point because they can't perform actions.
mm,
With Dash, because we have an agent that can perform
mm,
actions, we can almost start getting to this point where long term you almost get into a sort of AGI almost, where with
mm,
memory and stuff, you get enough context of a company, you can all of a sudden start being like, hey, automatically reply to these emails, or like act
mm,
like an HR person. So if you get Slack messages, you know what to do emails and that stuff, because there's a lot of work out there that people kind of just like repeat every day and they do the same thing.
mm,
And that's something that like an AI that has some sort of memory or intelligence can almost automatically replace.
mm,
So I view the market actually for Dash to be a lot bigger than just the Perplexity. But I'd still be happy with the Perplexity outcome. Don't get me
mm,
wrong. Perplexity's really great,
yeah.
incredible success.
Mm,
Definitely not at a Perplexity level, but I think if stuff goes right, we could be really, really massive.
yeah. I also like impressed by like Perplexity and like the small agent AIs. I'm not a big tech person. I'm like I
Yeah.
know a little bit, but I don't know so in depth of it. But whenever I play around with like small gen AIs, I find them a lot easier to use than like other
Yeah.
like with AIs with more tools and everything. So like
Yeah.
Perplexity and Dash just make it like super seamless. And do you think like your aesthetic also matters whenever you made it?
Yeah, yeah, I think it definitely matters because it's like, and that's the thing that I think people don't realize is that even you probably say you don't know AI much, but if you go on the street and ask someone if they know Perplexity, I'm in SF now, so everyone does know it. But if I went to a street in like Oklahoma, Austin's also really tech forward, so maybe not Austin, but like a Dallas or like a Lubbock or something, you're gonna like no one's gonna even know what Perplexity is. And the reason is just people don't understand how AI can help them yet, because a lot of these AI companies don't design it for people outside this like tech bubble that we live in. And I think that's really where we're trying to get Dash. We're not there yet, and that's what my main job now is just to talk to as many people as possible to get us there. But I think that is true that everything is about UI and UX. Like it's easy to make an agent. Like I can make something like Dash if I had to start over in like 3 weeks. It's hard to make it in a way that anyone can actually truly use and feel like an extension of themselves.
So do you think AI is going to be more than a helping hand than more like somebody who's going to take over? Like right now in the job market, like everyone's like scared that AI is going to take over their jobs and
Yeah,
everything. So do you think AI is more going to be like a helping hand rather than like a person who's
yeah.
going to do your job instead?
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, it's just at the end of the day, just like AI is gonna take over jobs. It's hard to see it not end up doing it because it's just one, if you're a company, why would you pay more money for a skilled worker when you could have an AI that could do their job? And it'll be interesting because if you go to like if you're like an intern at a company and you're expected to be trained into a good position, those jobs will stay there. Like you can be a stupid intern because the point of stupid interns is to eventually become smart engineers, lawyers, whatever. But then there's other jobs that like say an office aide or something where you're never expected to ever get promoted. And those are the jobs where AI is going to eventually, I think, end up taking place, especially if we hit a recession or something. Because, and so, yeah, I don't know. That's the weird part of this space, I think, for sure, is that whole ethical conundrum of the better AI gets, the more jobs you get lost.
What jobs do you think AI could take over?
First and foremost, I think the biggest ones are just gonna be like I think I want to say programmers are going to be taken over by AI, but not in the same way as other people think. Like everyone's going to need programmers. It's just you'll need less of them for stuff because they use AI as a first alternative, and programmer salaries are so expensive in terms of stuff. But the other ones I think are going to start being these knowledge workers, where like the reason you have these jobs is because you understand the company culture so well. Because you already have stuff like Glean that can kind of research a company's database and understand how a company works. But then when you get like stuff like Dash, it's like all of a sudden it's like, okay, not just does Dash know your vacation HR policy, but it can start replying to these emails. So if someone requests for off, it can be like, okay, these reasons make sense because based on past decisions, or this doesn't make sense. And it can go and draft, send emails, update your database and everything. And that almost becomes a lot of these people's jobs. So then you don't need five HR staff, you need three or two. And so it's like I think positions will stay, but unless you're like insanely good and you have management potential, you're not going to have a job in the future. Like management's where everything's going to become like this orchestration layer.
Yeah, that's pretty scary because like AI right now is like in schools and everything, people use AI for like for schoolwork and like for helping
Yeah,
them with like essays writing and all that. And now
yeah,
like AI is like can take over people's jobs. So do you
yeah.
think what so if AI ends up taking the job market over, which it's probably going to, what jobs do the people have then left, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always just about high level thinking because AI can't think and it can never think.
Mm,
For stuff, I mean, obviously people have already told me they think Dash is AGI, but at the end of the day, it's like the way that Dash is able to think is by understanding your context. So
mm,
it reads your emails, it reads your Slacks, and understands you as a person, so it can pretend to be you. But if you
mm,
never had those lived experiences, Dash could never
mm,
understand you. So
mm,
you just have to be really good at thinking and orchestrating. Because,
mm,
like, if you tell an AI to be a human, it's just
mm,
too complicated. Like, you think that's decide do I talk, do I do X, Y, and Z, and humans really have that thought. So it's all about that organization and orchestration that I
mm.
think, yeah,
So humans might move into more like a creative aspects, like or like
yeah,
like music writing, artistic fields, like more creative aspects where
yeah,
AI cannot really take over.
yeah.
Yeah. And what field? And then you answered like the question before, like you said, like what jobs, like what fields do you think AI could help rather than taking over?
Yeah, I think something that AI is going to help automatic is entrepreneurship.
Mm,
Like one of the biggest reasons entrepreneurship for the most part has been limited
mm,
in a bit by capital. So usually you see
mm,
people go to good universities like Stanford,
mm,
Harvard, etc., who come from wealthy backgrounds. They're the only ones who
mm,
can afford to do entrepreneurship out of college because you have to get money and like only
mm,
you they have the connection to venture capital and that stuff. But
mm,
now anyone can just go and start try out ideas with AI and you
mm,
can it's a lot cheaper and that stuff. So I think for sure entrepreneurship's gonna go way higher, and there's gonna be a lot more small companies or startups
mm.
that get started with AI.
Yeah, so you think like it will help out the budding entrepreneurs, right? Like if they just need like some
Yeah,
guidance.
yeah,
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 even I feel like that because like when I started this podcast, I use ChatGPT a lot to like give me like the ideation, like what I
yeah,
should do. It helps me a lot, honestly. And I think AI itself is integrated a huge part in our lives already. And
yeah.
do you think AI is like here to like just be a tool, or do you think that one day like you see Elon Musk, the Optimus robots, do you think like it's gonna be
Yeah.
like an actual physical being?
I think people don't understand how complicated robotics is.
Mm,
If we can see, I first want to see a robot that can actually move like a human
mm,
before I get worried about AGI even happening.
mm,
Um, Obviously, like I could see AI taking over the internet and destroying all the internet infrastructure. That could
mm,
happen within the next 20 years.
mm,
But I can't see an AI taking over the physical world.
mm,
So the only real reason, but that's
mm,
the only thing is we are getting more connected on the web. So like if we get to the point where we can start firing nuclear missiles like
mm, mm.
from actual like connected to the internet, then I think we can start getting concerned.
Yeah. You keep saying AGI. What does that mean?
Yeah, so for AGI is artificial general intelligence.
Mm,
I think the way people define it is when AIs can like, think and be humans.
mm,
I view it more as like when you can't tell the difference between an AI and a human if an AI has
mm,
been trained enough in terms
mm,
of stuff. And I think we're approaching that part of AGI pretty soon.
mm,
The part of them actually being humans,
mm,
I'm not convinced it's gonna ever happen.
mm.
Stuff. So
Okay, so I have a question. So if I'm a CS student who just graduated college, and then I'm in the new job market where AI is like dominant and everything, what would you suggest that student to do?
Yeah, I'd say if you're like in the job market right now, I think you have to focus on being human. Like we
Mm,
get a bunch of applications from people, and it's really annoying because we're not even hiring
mm,
for stuff, but it's clear that they just use an AI to send it, and it's like easy into the trash.
mm,
For things, it's just like if you really want a job, like be human, do the human things out there. So that's
mm,
the main way to have an advantage these days is
mm,
no one wants to talk to a robot or an AI agent.
mm,
And so being clear and doing the normal human things and networking, coffee chats,
mm,
talking to friends, etc., is really how you can distinguish yourself from things. Like
mm,
I don't think it's hard to get a job if
mm,
you actually go out there and try to meet people and apply yourself
mm,
and put in work. But
mm,
if you just go and send out job applications with AI agents and stuff like that, it's like you can do 1,000 applications and no one's gonna hire you
mm,
for stuff. And so I think just leaning into being human is the huge part if you're
mm.
looking for a job.
Okay, and so being human, and what if that person like ends up like in this world and day we can't really like detect AI. Like for example, like I saw this thing the other day where like they put the Declaration of Independence into an AI checker. It came as 100% AI, but in reality it wasn't. So like you can't really prove if something's AI or not. How do you think is that changing now? Are we able to find out if things are AI earlier?
Yeah. So I mean, like the thing is, you can't tell if something's AI or not, but there's just some channels that like AI can't do. Like if you meet someone in person, like it's not an AI robot. Or if you like messaging on LinkedIn, there's obviously AI responses, but usually LinkedIn messages are human, and you can
Mm,
kind of tell for stuff. And so it's like leaning into that. Like when I send emails, I like to put smiley faces.
mm,
I like to put typos and other stuff to show them that it's like not AI writing it, it's
mm,
me just generally writing them. And there's like kind of these kind of tricks where you can almost being less polished makes you seem like a better candidate these days because
mm,
anyone who seems too formal is gonna be it. Like if you write a Declaration of Independence type email,
mm,
I'm gonna throw it in the trash. I don't care if it wasn't AI written. It's just like there's no
mm.
need for that, and it's like no one who's writing a genuine is gonna do it. Yeah.
So like you're saying like people are like can easily like catch it like in a few seconds like recruiters can like quickly spot it out if it's AI or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. Nice.
Hmm. Yeah, then like at that point then it's better be human like you said, just be human.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. All right, and I want to talk a bit more about Dash. So what was the idea about Dash? Like what like caused you to like do this? Was there like a problem that you had or like
Yeah.
you found like a need for this?
Yeah, so like we were like playing around with MCPs actually, yeah, and so we decided we tried to put them in quiz and stuff, and we're like this low-key took us like over 2 hours, and we're super technical people. We're like, how do normal people even interact with AI agents?
Mm-hmm.
And so from there we're like, let's spend 40 hours building out a prototype. We did. We sent it to people, they loved it, and we're like, okay, let's make this a real company. And so we pivoted from a previous idea that had some traction and had some customers to do it for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that was like kind of a simple thing was just we felt the pain ourselves and then yeah.
So do you think Dash could help people who are like really busy in their days and they just need like someone to quickly summarize their emails to like check their spreadsheets?
Yeah, I think Dash is a great way for anyone to get exposed to AI agents
Mm,
initially. Like
mm,
it takes maybe a minute to get everything set up and connect your accounts
mm,
and then you get started looking at the power of agents in
mm.
terms of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. What are some AI tools you recommend people to use daily, including Dash?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, first would be Dash, and then I think it
Mm,
depends
mm,
on people and what they do. Honestly, like for me, I use Cursor as my other tool that I mainly use, and then outside of Dash and Cursor, I don't use AI that much in my life. Like, I think those are literally the only tools I use.
mm,
People often pay for vertical agents and
mm,
stuff, but I don't. I think that you don't need vertical agents for anything.
mm,
There's very few AI agents that are vertically focused that I
mm,
actually think are good. Off the top of my head, I can only think of like 11 Labs is good,
mm,
but there's not many people who need to do deep fakes
mm,
in
mm,
terms of stuff. And then like there's some job application ones that are okay, but honestly, most of the job application ones like the send research emails, like Dash can do the same thing because
mm,
those not because we're like a super coded agent, it's just because most of those
mm,
are just scams. Like
mm,
they're just not that good at what they do. Like
mm,
and so I would say ChatGPT, Perplexity,
mm,
Cursor, Dash, just like
mm,
these horizontal general agents. So all you
mm.
need to know for
So what's the
now.
difference between a horizontal and a vertical agent?
Yeah, so vertical agent are like focused on specific niches, which is why people buy them. That's the
Mm,
whole problem with Dash is that people don't understand that we can do what most of these things can do because we don't market ourselves as specifically like a finance agent or something.
mm,
Like something people often pay for are like these job application bonds that
mm,
find these bunch of these jobs and send emails for them.
mm,
And don't get me wrong, Simplify is a great one, by the way, but I don't count them as an agent. But like with Dash, you can ask it to be like find all the jobs listed for these companies
mm,
and then like send them emails to the hiring manager, and it can do it for you
mm,
already. And it's a lot cheaper than the 500 to $700 a month that a lot of these
mm.
services charge
Yeah,
for stuff. And
yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah, definitely. I feel like Dash is like super aesthetically pleasing because, like I said before, like all the other AIs I played around with, like there's too many things going on with Dash. It's just like really simple, and
yeah.
I think simplicity matters now in this day and age, especially, right?
Yeah, yeah, I would definitely say I think that's the whole point is to keep it as simple as possible
Mm,
because yeah, I mean any startup that's a tech-based startup, onboarding is the most important part.
mm.
If your users take more than a minute to get set up, you're gonna lose a lot of them. So
Yeah, it took me less than like probably a minute and 30 seconds to just understand the entire platform and the things I could do with it. Because like I asked her to summarize my emails and like within like it just like quickly just summarized all my emails in the last 24 hours and it
that's
was
awesome.
really impressive.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what would an average person use AI in their daily lives rather than working? What else could they use it for? Like what
Yeah.
tools, what do you use how do you use AI to its maximum capacity? Let's say I'm using ChatGPT. How can I use it to its like full being?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like for me, I barely use AI in my personal life.
Mm,
If I gotta be honest, like I
mhm,
think it's like good for your work,
mm,
but for your personal life, it depends on what you're doing with stuff.
mm,
Like I talked to like 100 or 200 people to figure it out, and I just came to this conclusion that you can use it to like AI for idea generation. So like if you
mm,
don't know what to make, you don't
mm,
know what to wear, you can ask it's a good decision maker.
mm,
You could use it for like therapy. Like Tolan's a great product.
mm,
I love the design. I personally don't
mm,
use AI therapists, but if I were, I would use Tolan. Great team, great product.
mm,
Everyone there is really nice. And then yeah, but I feel like I think people always say like unless you're trying to be an entrepreneur, there's like no reason, in my opinion, to use too much AI in your
mm,
personal life. Because like for me, it's like what I do for fun is just hang out with people, make
mm,
food,
mm,
and just like relax and watch TV or something. And like I
mm,
don't know, and those like areas, I'm not really looking to optimize my
mm,
life for like that stuff. So
mm,
I'd hesitate with using too much AI in your
mm.
personal life.
Yeah, I like you said again, being human's like the most important thing in this job market, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because recruiters don't want robots, like you again said that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's just key to like lean into your human part too more, the more AI kind of takes over the boring parts of
Mm,
life.
Hmm. So what is like an overrated AI trend you think is like the most overrated thing you can see right
Oh,
now?
I mean, I hate MCPs right now. I
What is
think
that?
MCPs,
What's MCP?
so MCPs are model context protocol. So they're like
Uh-huh.
ways for any AI, like if you have an MC model context protocol server, you can call like any API that has a model context
Mm,
protocol, and you guarantee your agent can use it.
mm,
And it's really useful because it means that like you can work with a lot of these different servers.
mm,
The reason I hate it is because people like act like these things
mm,
make it so agents can do anything.
mm,
But in reality, a lot of these servers and clients were just made by AI
mm,
and aren't that good for stuff. So like you can't really do too much.
mm,
But people are always like, oh, I can just go build out something by myself. I'll just use MCP. And everyone always
mm,
comes to us and are like, do you guys use MCP and Dash? And I'm always like, no, because they're just not good enough yet
mm,
in terms of things. Because
mm,
it's like sounds really exciting that like anyone can go and make it.
mm,
But at this point in time, we're just not there. Obviously, long term, I hope MCPs become a lot better because it'll make our lives a lot easier at Dash too.
mm,
But for now, we just don't do it. We don't really
mm,
partake in the MCP ecosystem. We make our
mm,
own tools and we do our own
mm,
connections just because it's
mm,
a lot better than what's out there right now.
mm. What about an underrated one?
Mhm. I think underrated is like I think people don't try out too much Grok by Elon, and there's also Grok with a Q.
Mm,
Grok by Elon's I think a great platform to make human content. I think it's better than chat in my opinion, honestly, for
mm,
generating human level content. And then Grok with a Q is super cheap. Like I use
mm,
it, and like even the free plan, like
mm,
it's impossible like development to really run out of it
mm,
unless you're actually getting somewhere useful.
mm,
And I think they're really fast, a great product. And
mm,
then the other thing too is people using agents for writing is underrated. So like most of my LinkedIn posts are created by Dash
mm,
for stuff no one can tell.
mhm,
Because of like an agentic approach to writing is a lot more human-like compared to an
mm,
LLM approach. Because
mm,
LLMs they output AI text. With agents, they output AI text. They refine
mm,
it and they kind of edit it in a some more human-like manner.
mm,
So it's a lot more likely for an agent to output a real human output than an AI LLM to do so.
mm. Yeah. So practically, you're saying like Dash makes it more human, which I cannot spot the difference because if I look at your LinkedIn post, it literally sounds like a human wrote it when you're saying Dash wrote it. So it's impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually
Yes.
put on my LinkedIn too that Dash writes my post, and no one, I don't know, no one's really caught on, which is like kind of funny when you think about it. Like I made a post saying I use AI to write everything, but I still get good engagement, so I can't complain.
Yeah, it seems like a human. Like it looks that it's like that good. So yeah,
Yeah.
and so in this day and age, we obviously have AI in every part of our lives, and right now, whenever I think about AI, I think about like ChatGPT and all these other models. But
Mhm.
one main thing that strikes me is that like how AI's accessibility. So like for example, like if you go to like a third world country, I don't think they even know what like internet is practically. So how do you think AI could change that?
Yeah. Wait, could you repeat that question? Sorry.
Yeah, so I was talking about AI's accessibility. Like some AI is not reaching everywhere in the world when clearly it needs to, right? So how do you think how do you have a solution for that, or do you think how could Dash address it?
Yeah, and I think this is what my biggest job now is trying to get as many conversations with people out there.
Hmm,
It's just that it's hard because right now most people who do AI and
hmm,
I don't want to say specific names for AI companies, so
hmm,
I'm not gonna like say it, but I have friends
hmm,
who do go out at many of the big AI companies out there, and they just none of them fundamentally understand what it means to be a normal American. Like they
hmm,
all sell to high tech people and all the markings for big tech
hmm,
individuals. They don't
hmm,
haven't yet really cracked that code. Um, and I think that's really what makes it accessible is truly not like designing an AI that everyone can use, but like
hmm,
getting down and doing like 10,000 conversations with
hmm,
normal people, normal Americans, and finding out
hmm,
what in their lives actually do they do
hmm,
and where AI can provide value. Because
hmm,
we can't trust people to figure out how to use AI in their lives
hmm,
because it's fundamentally going to change your life.
hmm,
And it's just like imagining like telling someone in 1992 what they do with an iPhone.
hmm.
Like they wouldn't know what the fuck to do with it. It's the
Yeah.
same way it's our jobs as creators to determine how they could use AI.
Hmm,
And we have the only way to do it is to truly like live a few days in their shoes and understand it.
hmm,
And I think at this point, it's just most of these companies are too big to even get close to doing
hmm.
that for stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, you want to make it more personalized, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You need to meet them where they are, not have them meet you where you are.
Exactly. I feel like right now ChatGPT is there, and then I look an average Americans here. You're trying to. It's like not possible, but this can come down here.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. How do you think that could happen?
Yeah, now that one's a hard one. If I knew the answer right now, we'd be a unicorn, is what I'd say on that. But I think the way to do it is to get a good marketing funnel and campaign. So long term, the plan is for us to get 100 different funnels that come into our site,
Mm,
each of them with a different niche. So instead of
mm,
trying to do a general
mm,
marketing
mm,
campaign, trying to get niche specific marketing to tie them into this general platform.
mm,
So it's like
mm,
if someone comes in from who's working in like a blue collar job in middle America, they
mm,
don't have the same experience as someone who's coming in working at a big tech company in Seattle,
mm,
but all while keeping it under the same general platform so they feel like they're using the same product.
mm,
So it's almost a
mm,
social media kind of approach to stuff.
mm.
I'd say.
Okay,
Yeah.
there's a bit broad of a question, so you can answer it in any way.
Yeah.
Uh, how does one build an AI company?
Yeah, I mean, if I knew fully too, I would again, I'm like really early, I wouldn't use myself just for advice. But I
Mm,
think really in an AI company right now, you have to decide how you want to do it. If you want to be a service company or a product company. If
mm,
you're a service company, you can bootstrap it, you'll make money. Just try to sell the businesses first. Don't even make the product.
mm,
If you're a product company, like we're a product company at Dash, it's like fundamentally we want to be one of the biggest companies in the world at the end of the day.
mm,
And the real way to do it isn't by trying to make money from day one.
mm,
Like we could make a profit right now. We have opportunities to do
mm,
it, but fundamentally we just get less customers and long term our growth wouldn't be there. And so then you have to start thinking about how do I get users and feedback,
mm,
and also how do I raise money to support it? Because
mm,
you can't there's like ideas at a venture scale and there's ideas that aren't. AI products, almost all of
mm,
them can fundamentally change the world. And
mm,
I think for them, you need to figure out a way to pay for
mm,
those costs initially while they're getting
mm,
user testing. Like the
mm,
reason we have a better product at Dash than a lot of AI agents
mm,
isn't because I'm more smart than other people. It's because one, we work harder, and two, we have a lot more users who give
mm,
us feedback because we have a free product.
mm,
And we're still not there. Like I think our product could get 10 times better in the next week for stuff. And but we are shipping fast, and the user feedback is a key reason why our platform
mm,
grows a lot faster than other ones. So
mm,
and that for that you do need some venture funding or some way
mm,
to fund the negative cost of free users with AI,
mm,
especially because it can get expensive really fast.
mm. Yeah. So you suggest that they first just try to sell out the business and rather build it out first?
Yeah, they definitely sell first if you're trying to make a profit.
Mm,
And if you're trying to make a product, you got to make some sort of MVP and get people to
mm,
like try it out so you can learn to build
mm,
it. Because
mm,
yeah, there's very few AI products out there where I'd be like someone can't build it in 3 months. The
mm,
hard part's then designing the interface on top of the AI,
mm,
which the only way to learn is through user experiences. So
mm. Yeah. So you mentioned you're in San Francisco right now, right?
yeah.
So how's the tech scene out there? Startup scene out there? Is it
Oh,
crazy?
it's way different. When I was in Atlanta, I was viewed as a super technical person. I had a lot of people coming up to me asking for advice.
Mm,
In SF, like everyone just views me as stupid. And
mm,
that's great because
mm,
it's just like everyone out there is building something, everyone else is doing something cool, and it's just like it fundamentally like gets you to work harder because everyone else is working harder.
mm,
And if you want to be successful, you have to outwork everyone.
mm,
So yeah.
mm. Yeah, I feel like person's location also matters a lot. Like here in Austin, it's like it's a growing tech scene out here, but it's not nothing matched like the scene out in the West Coast and
Yeah.
it's in California.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I didn't think SF would be as insane as it is for sure.
Mm,
I thought it was overrated before I came here a week
mm,
ago.
mm,
And yeah, no, it's definitely it's everything
mm.
people say it is.
So you're just working on the hustle right now, you're just working on your business right now in SFO.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like people like think that startup life's fun and you go to a lot of events, but no.
Mm,
Only once you're successful do you go to events. Like right now, it's just building and getting customers, but
mm,
it's like it's not fun.
mm,
But it is fun because I couldn't do anything else with my life.
mm,
But if I was a normal person, I would never do a startup.
mm. Okay, and here's also another broad question.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to a budding entrepreneur today?
I wouldn't do it. I would work a job, is what I would
Mm,
say first. Like work a job for a few months, and if you truly find yourself like working in a good job, like an office job, one that you can go home, enjoy life, and have fun. And if you truly find yourself hating your life, only then do entrepreneurship, for
mm,
stuff because
mm,
entrepreneurship fundamentally you're not going to make as much money as if you work a job. Because if you're truly a smart entrepreneur, you can go make 100K, 200K, and you're going to make more likely to make money than a startup fundamentally. So
mm,
if you want to do a startup, you need to fundamentally believe that what you want to do in life is build, and
mm,
you don't care about the money. Like, and if you're good, you'll make enough money to live too. Don't like. I mean, I'm
mm,
not saying that like if you do a startup, you're gonna like be on the streets. Like, you'll get funding, and you'll make money,
mm,
but you're just not. If you're like truly a good founder, you're just gonna make more money at a job, for
mm,
stuff. So I think working is always good for people to learn truly
mm,
what they want, because there's too many
mm,
founders out there who only found and then they don't end up working the 80 to 100-hour weeks as a founder because they don't have that motivation of knowing that the reason they're building isn't because they're like, oh, I can't work under someone. It's because they truly want to change the world and want to build. And like that motivation comes from
mm.
working. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like if you gotta do it all, you gotta put all your effort in, or else don't do it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what you think made Dash different? Because you put like your entire team. Who's in your team right now?
Yeah, so we have right now three people, me, Drew, and Pranjali, and then we're lucky enough to have a few interns, Fabian and Arnav, who help us a lot
Mm,
with stuff on the side. But yeah, I mean, obviously our interns don't work 100-hour weeks, but
mm,
yeah, me, Drew, and Pranjali have been working 100 hours since the start of April. So at this
mm.
point, two
Oh.
months now.
Mm,
So that's each of us 800 hours, 2,400. And it's like it adds up over time.
mm,
Um, and like definitely don't get me wrong, like I've made a lot of sacrifices already in the last 2 months, and I'm gonna make a lot more in the next
mm,
5 to 6 months. But without it, we wouldn't be anywhere near we are, and we still have a lot to go. So yeah, it's like fundamentally because I turned down an offer to work at Amazon for
mm,
stuff, and it's just like fundamentally when you make these big life decisions, there's no point in making them if you're not gonna go all in.
mm,
Like anyone who's a 40-hour a week startup founder can't call themselves a founder. You just
mm.
want to
Just do it
like
for fun.
yeah, do it for fun, and that's cool
Mm,
and that's good, but you have to be honest with yourself when you're doing these things, what you want to do, because there's nothing
mm,
wrong with doing it as a side project and seeing if it
mm,
gets traction before going full time.
mm,
But at that point, also you want to work a job. You don't want to
mm,
just found like work-life balance should not be a
mm,
consideration when you're starting off.
mm. So who's your part? So your partners are also GI Georgia Tech grads as well?
Actually they right now taking a leave of absence. They haven't graduated yet from Georgia
Oh.
Tech. But yeah. So right now it's yeah, right now, sorry, I misspoke. Right now, it's my co-founder is Pranjali, and then we have Dhruv as an intern right now, and we have Fabi and um
Mm,
Arnav interns and
mm.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely you guys are putting in a lot of work in it. And if there's a last piece of advice would you give to anyone, what would it be? What would you say? What would your message be about AI or anything?
Yeah, if I had to give advice to anyone, I think the biggest thing I would say is just enjoy your life and don't stress about it as much as you probably do.
Mm,
Like, and if you're gonna want to do something, truly work hard.
mm,
Like, I'm a CS major, and I heard a lot of people telling me that they can't get jobs. But
mm,
if how many of them actually spend 60 hours a week trying to get a job? Almost none of them
mm,
for stuff. And it's like
mm,
it feels weird to
mm,
be like, okay, working 60 hours a week, but it's
mm,
like you look at these things like getting anything above 80K is like a top 10% outcome in America
mm,
for stuff for a job. And it's like if you don't think you can work 60 hours a week to get a top 10% outcome, you
mm,
don't deserve it in terms of stuff. And
mm,
I think that's just at the end of the day, the biggest thing is even with
mm,
AI, it's like AI shouldn't be a reason to work less hard. It should be a reason to do more and work just
mm,
as hard for stuff
mm,
because you can be just
mm,
I mean, obviously if you're smart, life's easier, but you can't control if you're smart or not at this point in life. All you
mm,
can control is how much work you put in. So there's no
mm.
reason not to work as hard as you can.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Thank you very much for your time. I genuinely enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on, man. And